Good morning. I got something exciting in the mail yesterday, so I'll just unwrap it real quick and be right back. A bit over a week ago, Arrtx kindly reached out to me and asked if I'd like to try out one of their newer marker sets, their acrylic marker sets with the liquid ink but zero pumping system basically. So I said yes, and I'll include the links and such in the video description, so please check them out. I've collaborated with them on 2 other videos before where I've reviewed their signature line, which I love dearly, and the SimTap marker, so essentially sponge core versus liquid ink and pumping system, which this one doesn't have, thankfully. And here you can see the information on the back of the box. I'm really happy with the color choices. The set has a lot of pastel to midtones and a couple of darker shades of purple and blue. I love the greens in this one. Like, those yellowy kind of greens, delicious. Only thing that's missing for me are some sort of saturated darker brown shades for skin tones and such. For lighter skin tones, I can definitely use some of the lighter oranges and peach shades, which you will see later on, but please give me some dark shades, like some green or purple or even brown. And here's just me showing you the markers, and excuse the following audio, but it's really messed up. Green, teal to brown and grayish colors. I think this one is really interesting. Oh, you can't really see my finger. I think this one is really interesting. I think that's really pretty, and they have this focus. Okay, anyways, they have this little flower or cloud design on them, which is really cute. So, let's open one up. And I still have to shake them. I haven't shaken them, but like, yeah, they have the brush tip that you expect from them, and you can see a little bit of the ink here. And in the clouds. And here you can see my swatches. I messed up with numbering at the beginning, so there's a large puddle of yellow somewhere on the page, and I don't know how some people make their swatch sheets so aesthetically pleasing. I just wanted to have a color sheet for reference though. I really appreciate that the color names are actually included on the caps here. Makes it so much easier to grab something. Even though I don't really look at color sheets that much usually, I mean, the actual colors on the page are pretty similar to the caps anyways. So for the plan for today, there was no specific theme and I only knew I wanted to create a sketchbook spread where I draw on white paper directly and then on tone paper. It's just something I've been enjoying lately, like this fish and OC portrait thingy I showed you in that one clip, which I did with markers I already owned, so basically some top line and then the normal ones that I showed you in the beginning of the video. For inspiration, I had this old piece that I wanted to redraw for quite a while. I just love the colors in the bunny. Just something about the face always bothered me for some reason. It's the mouth, I think. I sped up the process, the sketching process quite a lot, more than the actual coloring process because it wasn't really the focus of the video. And I'm not sure it wasn't working for me that day, but I really had to resist the urge to stop. I had to resist the urge to slap. I had to resist. I can't speak. I had to resist the urge to slap on a bunch of post-it notes and redraw the hands on Bunny's little face, and Bunny's. There's one post-it note that I will paint over later on. Something you see me doing quite a lot if you watched one of my sketchbook tours before. It wasn't perfect in the old sketchbook spread either, and it didn't have to be now. But it bothered me. It's a bit similar to when you do line art and realize you lost something special from the sketching phase, so it was either scrapping it and starting over, trying to just rely on the marker's opacity, which I knew I can render it out later, I can figure out the face later, and I think I did. At this point of the video, I had the sketch of my original character Prune almost done, and he's holding Mavis, the bunny. Mavis is actually more of a humanoid character with bunny traits, but I wanted to give him a bunny form at some point, so sometimes if you see white bunnies in my sketches with my OCs is probably like supposed to be Mavis or Sister, but anyways. So I basically had prune holding the bunny and the empty purple paper on the right left, and I wasn't completely sure what to add, maybe more flowers or something else completely, but I wasn't really sure, so I thought maybe something reddish that wouldn't take away from the initial sketch too much. I like my spreads to look at least somewhat cohesive, so the options are to basically figure out an overall theme, repeating elements, or simply the color scheme on its own, which wasn't really there at that point. I just thought more flowers would be a little bit distracting, unless I do the same flowers that I have for the actual sketch on the other side as well, but I didn't really want to draw a bunch of white flowers with yellow center and arugula looking leaves. Arugula? Rocket? Anyways, I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to put another completely different type of flower on the other side because, I don't know, I feel like it would look weird. So I decided to do another animal thingy on the other side, which is spoiler for later on, but I've done a couple of animal sketches in the last few weeks, or I mean, I guess like the last weekish, and I really enjoyed those, so I thought I will do that. And I think that worked because the only distinctively red thing so far were the bunny's eyes that you will see later on because I'm a little bit too fast for the voiceover. So I decided to add another bunny in the latter half of the sketchbook spread, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit and I gave it horns because I was thinking about jackalopes, or I think Germany has Wolpertinger, which I don't know if they're actually really the same or not, but they look similar in my head at least. So my approach to acrylic markers is a little bit messy. I like to start with the character's face and often mix in oranges and purples and a little bit of teal. Kind of how I do my eye makeup, honestly. I like red eyeshadow a lot, and I think blush is cool, but also a little bit scary because sometimes you look really toasty because of it, and I think on some people that's really pretty too. But I really like orange blush, so I also put that on my characters because I like projecting. Yeah, so I also like to put a little bit of the character's eye color or hair color on their lashes. So for prunes, it's like somewhere between purple and blue. It's a bit clownish really, with punchy colors and something to add contrast. So when it comes to blending, I didn't really do much here, and I usually don't really do much blending when it comes to acrylic markers. I kind of work in blocks. I kind of block in colors. I black in the shadows. I start with the darker shadows, and then I move to some midtone, and then the light colors, and sometimes I smudge them with the brush tip of the marker, which you can do. I mean, there's multiple ways of blending in quotation marks. If it was watercolor, I think I would blend with a brush and more water, or some other color that I would let it bleed into it. But here you can either take a lighter marker and smudge the shadow color with the brush tip, or another really, really pretty and a little bit messy but super fun way for texture hair or skin is to use your finger or Q-tip, but I don't have a Q-tip, so I was too lazy to go to the bathroom and get one, actually. I ended up using my finger to smudge the paint around a lot, and I had so much fun. I bet painting backgrounds or bigger portraits like that would be so cool. Like those portraits they did for games like Disco Elysium, for example, or even Arcane. I think Arcane's art style also fits this stuff a lot. Or even Lies of P, I think the backgrounds would be so fun with type of markers, but I mean, you kind of lack those dark shades, so you kind of have to think about values a lot, I think, which is really fun. I don't know how to draw backgrounds. I'm not really I mean, I don't really do it much. I should. I kind of want to practice more backgrounds, and maybe that's the goal for this year or the rest of the year, actually. I would love to. I would love to draw more backgrounds at some point, in a really sketchy way or something. But I watched a video essay on those illustrations in Disco Elysium at some point last year, and I really appreciate how the creator went in really in depth into how the illustrations are basically using color fields and those brushstrokes for different ideologies and mental states in the characters that you can really see them decline. Or I think the mirror scene is so eerie. Like, you don't know anything about the character at the beginning of the story, and then you have the option to basically look into the mirror, and I don't think you're able to at first, but as you get more skill points, at some point you are able to, and then what you see is just, I don't know, it's so human, but it's so scary, and then it's so distorted, and it does something. So yeah, been a few years and I still think about it, that and those times I got Disco Elysium edits on my TikTok For You page. But back to drawing, at some point during the process I hit a little bit of a mental wall. I was struggling a little bit. My characters usually have a bit of a limited color palette, and I mean, at least if I went for flat colors, right? I think it's because my main inspo for drawing were horror RPG Maker games like Hello Charlotte, Mad Father, Andrew, and the one with the little witch. Wadanohara, which is very, very blue until it's not blue anymore and it's red, and then you notice and something's really, really wrong, and it's so cool. I love that. I think Hello Child is sadly so slept on, but I always love finding artists and other people that know about Hello Child in a while. That it makes me happy. Yeah, but they always had their own really distinct color palettes, and Etherain's games and art still has such a grip on me. Like, even 10 years later, like how black hair and white hair, very complicated relationship duo, they were so tragic. I mean, I found a Let's Play over 10 years ago and I've been violently subbing since. I'm also really excited for Rehab Friday when it comes out. Like, it's by the same dev and artist. I haven't really played too many games recently. I've only played Soma and Spiritfarer. I mean, I started Spiritfarer. I'm not really far into it. I'm pretty much at the beginning because I really started it in the same night when I finished Soma, and I was also violently sobbing because that ending wrecked me. I just always thought if I ever made a little pixel game, it would be very purple and yellow and sort of indigo, maybe. And there would be a lot of eyes and bunny creatures. A lot of bunny creatures. I really need to get back into playing more games again because recently I've just been watching a lot of video essays on games that I've never played, like Silent Hill The Room, and then I just went down the rabbit hole of Silent Hill 2 video essays again. I just come back to the game every 2 years, I think, somehow. But yeah, I really, I mean, it's really cozy. It's like listening to an audiobook, but it's different than an audiobook, I think. I don't know, I'm a little bit in a reading slump. I'm just reading The Eyes Are the Best Part right now, and I think I have like half of it left. Yeah, pretty much 50% in, and it's good technically, but George is intense, and I don't like George at all, and that's pretty much the point of the book, I think, but George. But I will finish it. Maybe I will finish it today, and maybe tomorrow. I hope I can, because I'm excited for what will come at the end, maybe, if it is as unhinged as people say. But I recently watched and also read Something Wicked This Way Comes by Red Bradbury, and I really liked it. I think it's such a cool approach to a coming of age story where some carnival comes to the town, but it's way too late in the year, and you have two friends that are just really different from each other. One is really excited to grow up, and one kind of isn't ready yet, in a way, I guess. And his dad isn't ready to get older either, so it's a little bit of age, and you have liminal spaces and mirror mazes and a lot of, I don't know, it's like very heartwarming but also very scary in a way. And it was such a good movie for its time, really. Like, the animation was really cool in there. It kind of is like, it's not like watching Mary Poppins, like theme. Actually, the themes are kind of similar in a way, but it's a little bit like watching Mary Poppins again, and you have this like mix between uh real life and then add some animation in there, and everything's scary but also kind of whimsical in a way, like very wacky, very special. Like, it feels like growing up and then kind of missing out on a lot of stuff because you can't really look at stuff anymore like the way you did when you were like, I don't know, 10 years old or something. So we're almost at my favorite part of the video, which is the other bunny. I love to add more oomph, but I don't like scripting my stuff. I usually like to add a little bit of something by adding different shades of blues and pinks to the shading, and the set has so many color choices, so it was really fun to play around on the bunny here. So I also went for a white bunny here, but you can see me using blues first and then blending them out with some really pale shade of pink, which looks relatively white on this paper because it's purple, and I guess this is like color theory or something. I don't know shit about color theory, but I try. So yeah, I used a pale pink, and then at some point I also used a relatively pale yellow, which you can see here. And I actually like that a little bit more because it adds some warmth. It also mirrors the yellow I used on the flower petals and a little bit of the other bunny's fur. So yeah, that was pretty much what I was going for. I used more pinks, blues, and purples again, and a little bit more yellow, and then I also blended it out with some of the whites again. I don't really like using straight up white usually, unless it's my beloved jelly roll at the end, which I haven't really included in the process, but I'll insert some little video of how the actual spread looks at the end. And now it's mostly just going over it again and again with some other colors, just like putting some little teal, like light blue shade in there a little bit, trying to get this sort of fur texture, and then more blending it out with the fingers on the nose, for example, because I wanted it to have some sort of pinkish reddish nose too. Yeah. I really enjoy the sort of line artist look overall, but something was missing, so I put some finishing touches in there with some darker red and added some sort of outline-ish to some of the parts of the piece, kind of like I did with Prune's face in general, like the shadow, the chin shadow. I don't know how you call that really. And then I added the sort of abstraction looking eyes in the background. This wasn't really supposed to look like anything out of the Amazing Digital Circus, but I guess it kind of does now. So that was it from me. Thank you again to Arrtx for sending me the set, and I hope you have a lovely start into the week or whenever you're watching this. Bye!